All right, welcome. Today we're going to dive deep into Joe Goodman's novel, My Steadfast Heart. But we're not just looking at it as a story. We're treating it like a powerful study in how we actually heal from deep emotional wounds. We're going to break down its key lessons on love, trust, and what it really takes to recover.
And that brings us right to the question that's really at the center of this book. And let's be honest, it's a question a lot of us have probably asked ourselves. How do wounded hearts, the ones that have built up walls to protect themselves, ever learn how to trust another person again? So first, a quick look at the book itself. My Steadfast Heart was published way back in 1997. Now, it's set in the Victorian maritime world, but don't let the historical romance label fool you. This thing is way more than a simple love story. It's a deep, character-driven look at trauma, which makes it perfect for anyone who's interested in the psychology of healing. To really get the solution the book offers, we first have to understand the problem it paints so clearly. This idea of an emotional fortress. You know, it's that armor we all build around our hearts after we've been hurt. And this is where we meet our protagonist, Colin Thorne. This quote just nails his starting point perfectly. After some really intense childhood trauma and loss, he's built this fortress that nobody can get through. And sure, it's kept him safe, but it's also left him completely and utterly alone. So here's the paradox, right? The very same walls that we build to survive, well, they can end up becoming our prisons. Yeah, they protect us from getting hurt again, but they also block out any chance of love or connection. So the first real step the book gives us is simple. Just recognize it. What are the walls you built, and what are they really doing for you? Okay, so let's get into the core of this whole thing. The story gives us this incredible roadmap for how to start taking that fortress apart, and we can break it down into 5 essential keys to healing. So the first key is gentle persistence. When the heroine, Mercedes, comes into Colin's life, she doesn't show up with a battering ram. Instead, she's just patient. In this scene, Colin is just observing her. He's not pushing or demanding anything. He's just giving her time and space, noticing the tiny details. That creates a sense of safety, not a confrontation. And this highlights such a profound truth about trauma. If you try to force someone who's guarded to open up, you know what happens? Their walls just get taller and thicker. But a gentle, consistent, patient presence, well, that slowly signals that it's safe. It invites them to lower the drawbridge themselves when they're ready. The second key is all about rebuilding trust, piece by piece. The book is super clear that for someone like Colin, trust isn't some big leap of faith. Nope, it's a slow, careful construction project. It's hard work, for sure, but it's absolutely essential if you want any kind of real, authentic connection. Think about it like this. Trust is like a bridge being built across a huge canyon of past pain. Each plank in that bridge is one small, consistent, reliable action. It's a promise that's kept. It's a vulnerability that's shared and respected. It's a moment of support. You don't just jump across the canyon. You build a safe way to the other side, one plank at a time. Key number 3, this one is huge. It's a total redefinition of what we think love is supposed to do. So often, we see love as this magic cure that's going to make all the scars and all the pain just disappear. But this book argues for a way more mature and, frankly, more realistic point of view. You see, real, authentic love isn't about fixing someone. It's about being a companion through the pain. It's about sitting with someone in their dark moments without trying to find the light switch. It's basically saying, hey, I see your scars, and I'm not going anywhere. That kind of acceptance is so much more healing than any attempt to fix them could ever be. All right, the fourth key is the power of a chosen family. Colin's healing doesn't just happen in a bubble with Mercedes. He has to become a part of her world. And in this moment, when her young cousins just instinctively jump between them to protect her, it shows you the strength of the family unit he's walking into. His journey is about earning their trust, too. So the takeaway here is that healing rarely, if ever, happens in a vacuum. It happens in a community. When you find a new, supportive network, it helps you rewrite your story. It shifts the narrative from one of isolation and pain to one of connection and shared strength. And that brings us to our 5th and final key, which beautifully pulls all of these ideas together into one practical framework: the art of vulnerability. This is the engine that really powers that bridge of trust we were talking about earlier. The central concept here is something we can call selective vulnerability. Now, this is not about oversharing and telling your life story to everyone you meet. It's the total opposite. It's the strategic, gradual practice of sharing a little bit more of yourself, but only with people who have earned it through their consistent, trustworthy actions. And here's how you can actually put this into practice. Step 1, identify someone who's already shown that they're trustworthy. Step 2, share something just a tiny bit more personal than you usually would. Step 3, and this is so important, watch how they respond. Do they meet you with empathy, with respect, or do they brush it off? If the response is positive, boom, you've just laid another plank on that bridge of trust. Then you can repeat the process over time. Okay, now let's take a step back and give a fair, balanced evaluation of the book itself as a tool for understanding all these concepts.
On the plus side, the psychological depth is honestly exceptional for a romance novel. It gives a really mature, authentic look at trauma recovery, and the advice feels super actionable. But on the other side of the coin, the pacing can drag a bit in places, and some parts of the plot lean pretty heavily on those familiar romance tropes that might not be for everyone.
And you can see this balance reflected in our scores. As a piece of pure fiction, we gave its content quality as 6.5. But where this book really truly shines is in its practical applicability, the real-world value of its psychological lessons. For that, it earns a very strong 8.0. So, where does that all leave us? Let's get to our final verdict and talk about what you might want to read next if these ideas really clicked with you. Our final grade for My Steadfast Heart is a 6.9 out of 10. It's a solid psychological romance with a core that's uncommonly mature. And while the plot has some of those genre conventions, the actionable insights you get on healing, trust, and vulnerability make it a really worthwhile read for anyone interested in how the heart can recover. And hey, if you enjoyed this kind of deep dive, Goodman has explored similar themes in a bunch of her other books. We definitely recommend checking out Forever in My Heart and Always in My Dreams if you're looking for more character-driven stories with real emotional weight. You know, the biggest takeaway from all this is that healing doesn't mean the damage never existed. It just means the damage no longer controls our lives. If you found this analysis valuable, make sure you follow, share, and subscribe for more deep dives just like this one.